Age of Mythology Retold is finally out in pre-release, and what a better way to celebrate the new edition than to replay the campaigns. I will be attempting them on the Titan difficulty, the hardest one available, while also trying to hunt for all the achievements. But we'll talk about those in a different video. I haven't played Age of Mythology in a few years, so while I remember the story, the missions are a bit fuzzy, so we'll have to improvise as we go along. As a disclaimer, there are no difficulty achievements in the game, so you don't actually need to finish it on the Titan difficulty. I just want a challenge. Also, there will be obviously spoilers from the Age of Mythology campaigns, so if you've never played the story, I warmly suggest you play it before watching it, as it's one of the most amazing and epic RTS game stories out there. The Fall of the Trident campaign features 32 chapters or missions, and this video will focus on the Greek ones, so let's get started. Since the goal is to get all the achievements in the game eventually, we actually want to start with a tutorial. Make sure you select the right difficulty from the bottom right menu before hitting start. Not much to say here, as even on Titan you can't lose the tutorial. Follow the on-screen prompts with instructions from Athena. Once you use the bolt on the manticore, you also get the Power of the Gods achievement.
Brilliant! There are many gods in Age of Mythology,
as well as a hero in the making when you finish the mission.
Did Varys manage to escape? To find out.
Chapter 1, Omens. In the first mission, we have to defend Atlantis against pirates. You start with a sizable army of Toxotes, ranged units that are best against other mortals. They can also damage the Kraken from a safe distance. Since Arkantos is a hero, he has the bonus damage to deal with any myth units they send our way. Use the barracks and archery ranges to train more units to deal with the landing parties. And for the preparation achievement, make sure you are training at least 10 hoplites and 10 Toxotes. When the Kraken attacks, make sure you only send Arkantos in the front and pull back your hoplites, as they will be picked up and thrown by the Kraken without any hesitation. You have to survive for 6 waves, with some time to rest and train more units in between them. And while the final wave is scarier, you will receive the Lightning Storm God power and extra units to deal with the pirates. Another easy one in the bag, this victory also comes with the "And So It Begins" achievement.
It will take more than pirates to overrun Atlantis. Prepare to come about. They're going to pay for
Chapter 2, Consequences. Kamos, the Minotaur pirate, has taken the stolen Trident of Atlantis, and we have to get it back. This is the first macro mission, where we can finally build a base ourselves. In the first stage, focus on getting food and gold while exploring the top side of the map with a trireme. The Lost Treasures achievement should pop once you find a shipwreck containing some extra wood. Once you build a temple and gathered enough food, you can age up. I chose Ares since it grants us the Cyclops, a beefy frontline unit, and several upgrades for our regular infantry units. In the second age, I built an archery range and a barracks, and started unit production so I have a small group once the first enemy attack hits. You still have plenty of time to prepare. Make sure to build enough houses so you don't get population capped, and always make villagers. A healthy economy supports a healthy army. After you have enough troops and upgrades, you can launch an attack on the enemy base. Don't forget to build units at home while the troops are fighting so you can replenish the losses. Once you take down the enemy town center, the mission ends. Chapter 3, Scratching the Surface. We reach Troy and join the siege with our friends. Start by going to the right to find our first settlement. While it's being built, you can explore around to find the enemy positions and a relic, granting us bonus life to walls. I aged up with Ares again and also started building some naval units to attack the enemy from two sides. Once I have a small strike force, I launch an attack on the right base, taking out the units in the town center without much trouble. You can always take the settlements if you need more population space, and there is another one above it that barely has any defenders. However, once the first dock is destroyed, you will receive a shipment of units from Agamemnon. I decide to age up with Aphrodite for the villager bonuses. Right about now I also get the first attack from the main Trojan base, and after dealing with them, I use the newly received army to march on the second base. I barely managed to go past the walls when my naval units managed to take down the final dock and end the mission for me. I guess this could have been done sooner if I had just spammed naval units instead. Chapter 4, A Fine Plan. With the docks destroyed, we push towards Troy, and our task is to take down the city gates so Ajax can storm the defenders. This was, dear reader, not a fine plan, as it turns out. This is where the difficulty starts to ramp up. You don't have any gold in your base, and you have two enemies that attack you constantly by land and by sea. You should also clear the two nearby Trojan mines to stop them from mining your resources, and to get 200 gold per destroyed mine. Initially, I tried to build up a naval force to attack the secondary base, but I was unable to deal with their blockade, and at the same time a considerable land force wiped out my units, forcing me to restart. Lesson learned, don't focus on the sea. As soon as the game starts again, I take my villagers off the temple to gather food quicker, and send my army to clear out the first mine. With the first batch of 200 gold coins, I make a few boats to counter the naval waves that will hit us soon. I don't need to conquer the sea, I just need to hold it. I can also ferry units to the small island on the right to get my hands on my first gold mine. I set up a small wall and start spamming centaurs because of the new arrow volley ability. They can effectively damage a lot of units in a decent area, and if you stack them, the enemy won't know what hit them. I age up with Aphrodite again, and I get a free Heliopolis that will help me breach the enemy base. I break the left base, taking the gold and walling the enemy further in. During this time, the enemy will constantly send waves of land and sea units our way, so it's important to react to them and defend the base. I age up with Artemis for the earthquake and push towards the main base, using up the gold mines along the way to sustain the constant unit production. At some point I also unlocked Centum Centauri, which means I've killed 100 units with centaurs from all those stray arrows. Once I reach the gates of Troy, I start the first assault that ends on the zappy end of a lightning storm. Also, it seems that you cannot cast Earthquake as a divine intervention. Blocks my powers. Earthquake really is a scam on this mission, huh? At least the Chimera is stupidly strong, and a few of them can easily burn down an entire army. With the forces remade and the unit cap annoying me, I do one final push into Troy and the gates go down. Chapter 5, Just Enough Rope. We abandon the siege of Troy to rescue Ajax. Once the initial fight is over, we can move on to the town center. And once we establish the base, I move a bit forward and take the first Trojan farms for myself, as I'm keeping the pigs until they fatten up. I then collect the relics around the map and start building a small army. With 2 Minotaurs, I managed to get the Minoan Tennis achievement, quite randomly as they were bashing the enemy troops. Once I get the Chonkers achievement, I know my pigs are ready, and I can start harvesting them for food. A few times I felt I had more food than gold, so I used the market to sell the excess. On this map, you also have an ally with a small settlement that is perfect for trading. With a few mules, I am able to make some extra gold. Right as I'm about to attack, I notice the AI built a fortress right next to my gold pile, so I take it down and head to the top of the map, the secondary entrance of the enemy base. Here, I get locked into 2 choke points as the enemy decimates my troops, but I manage to take down the town center. And attack a few more times until they no longer have any troops, and I can clean up the base. The bronze armor god power really helped here, and with the remaster, there's a new feature that allows you to reuse spent powers in exchange for a favor cost. An amazing change, and it really feels like I earned a god's favor and not just a one-time party trick. Chapter 6. I hope this works. This is an easy one, a welcome break from the previous missions, and now we need to build the Trojan horse. And to accomplish this, I'm taking all my workers and placing them on wood. No need for a balanced economy on this mission. I used all the food to make as many villages as I can, and the gold to make Minotaurs. The enemy will alternate between attacking from the top and bottom sides. When a single horseman from the patrol remains, he will try to warn Troy, and whatever you do, do not let him escape.
Good job.
Once you have 1,000 wood, send 2 workers on the sheep to gather some more food for extra villagers, and the rest of them to the horse construction site. You can also click on the horse to see an exact timer on how long it will take, about 5 minutes with our current numbers of workers. When you reach 100 seconds, pull everyone to the horse and you should be done in no time. Also, don't forget, if any horsemen are in a position where you can't catch them, use the lightning bolt power to snipe them. With the horse complete, we get to the second part of the mission, a no-build section where we need to take down the gates from the inside. Make a save here if you're not feeling confident, and proceed down to the parked Heliopolis, avoiding the patrols. And once the gate is down, you get 2 charges of meteor. I used both on the 2 fortresses on the left, and commanded my army to attack the one on the right. With my Petrobolos taking down the last fort. Nice and easy.
Troy has fallen. Let's find Helen and get her back home.
Chapter 7. More Bandits. Another no-build mission. The port of Ioklos has fallen to the bandits, and we must free them along with their leader, Chiron. Eventually, we reach a camp where, after destroying the enemy base, we get control of more units and some buildings. There is also an achievement in this chapter called Chiron's Apprentice, and to get this, we must only train centaurs and nothing else. Explore around for artifacts and resources while clearing out more bandits. Once you liberate the main town area, you can find the wood stockpile to the north for more centaurs and other relics. When you get the objective to destroy the enemy's citadel, you can use the market to sell food and buy wood for even more centaurs. There's also a plenty vault to the right side of the map, providing a small trickle of resources. When you feel comfortable with the number of centaurs you have, I had around 37, you can march on the enemy's base and destroy it without much issue. The arrow volley does a fantastic job of killing the packs, and casting bronze armor at the start of the fight means we have next to no losses. Once the fortress is destroyed and Chiron is saved, the achievement should pop.
Arcantos, I have awaited your arrival.
Vulume.
Chapter 8. Bad News. This one really is a slog. You have two bases you have to defend. One has food and gold and the other has wood. Start by ramping up the economy so we can recruit troops on both sides and age up. I picked Dionysus for the age up, as Hydras are strong and would be great here to break the enemy lines. After aging up, I decided to push with both sides, and unfortunately Ajax and his army are killed instantly, with enemies pushing into the left base. While I try to save the base, I get attacked in the main one and quickly lose both of them, then to restart. This time I focus more on defense. I make sure both bases have temples to produce myth units, and I make as many units as I can. This time I age up with Apollo to link up the two bases with the underworld passage. I use this to fill units between them as needed, and age up again with Hephaestus for the Colossi, granting me a plenty vault as well. Once the food runs out, I have to transition to farms, and when the gold runs out, I move the workers to another pile just outside the main base. With enough units and siege weapons, I push forward, ignoring the path that leads to the other base. I also get I believe they can fly achievement here, launching 100 units in the air. I managed to break the enemy's base, but my army is destroyed as I'm fighting an immoral number of troops. Just look at them. Eventually I lose the left base during the attack, and I've been selling a lot of food and wood anyway. I remake the units, focusing almost exclusively on myth units, as they're the ones that can take the punishing blasts from the enemy Petrobonus. This took a very long time, about 40 minutes to get here, but at least it's done. With the way clear, I take down both fortresses and follow the goofiest looking Gargarensis into the underworld. Chapter 9 Revelations. Tartarus is a piece of cake. As you descend down the ramp, go to the right side of the map first and clear out the enemies defending the rocks. With the first tunnel blocked, fewer enemy reinforcements can come in to disturb you. Move on to the second one, which is now marked on the map, and seal it as well, making sure you keep your centaurs in the back, away from the AoE attacks of the Manticore. Once both tunnels are closed, you can focus on the ramp, kill the defenders and start ramming it. It feels like it has a lot less HP than the original version of the game, or maybe it's just my imagination. Make sure to keep your centaurs close to Arcantos to receive the attack speed buff, and to keep bringing in reinforcements to the ramp. It will fall in no time, and I haven't even used the god power besides restoration. Chapter 10 Strangers. This is the last Greek chapter. We start by following the Shades. They are excellent scouts and they can also one-shot any unit in the game, so better save them up for later. Be on the lookout for these rocks, as you can break them and release the trapped units inside. Our task is to gather 3 missing relics, and since most of the enemies are myth units, send Arcantos, Ajax and Chiron to deal with most of the threats, keeping the army in the back. At one point, after the second relic, I managed to get my army stuck on some crocodile carcasses. I keep trying until I manage to get everyone out except for one lone centaur. Oh well, I hope you like the Underworld, kid. We cross the river Styx and reach the other side by using the other ships as cannon fodder. Kraken fodder? Anyway, once we reach the final area, push forward with the Shades and take out the enemies. Don't forget to leave 3 of them alive for the last 3 golden colossi guarding the fence. And we've done it. Once the cutscene is over, we get the To Hades and Back achievement, marking the end of the Greek chapters, and also the end of this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two, and I hope you are as excited as I am about the new edition. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out the next video, where we go into Egypt.